The following program is being brought to you in part by
Community Health Net Health Centers, rooted in the communities of Northwest Indiana. Community Health Net Health Centers offer family practice, pediatrics, behavioral health, OBGYN, eye care, and dental. Community Health Net Health Centers provides compassionate health care for all.
And good evening and welcome to the LRP Tower in beautiful downtown Hammond. My name is Don Clark and I will be your, I always love this, Dr. Seabrook, because I always kind of feel like I'm a goalie. I'm just here to kind of keep everybody in play, but every once in a while we've got something I need to pass along. We are with Your Health Matters with Dr. Jenna Seabrook. Dr. Seabrook, good evening and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Don. I really appreciate it. And I tell everybody you're the show's producer. That's what I tell everybody.
Oh, okay. I like that. That sounds better than goalie. I'm good with that.
And so we're so excited today because we have Dr. Paige McNulty here with us today, the superintendent of the Gary School Corporation. So Dr. McNulty, thank you so much for agreeing to participate in our show today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So today we're just very interested, and I'm gonna, after you answer some questions of mine, Don also has some questions, so I'm gonna toss it back to him. But one of the things that we want you to help us and help the community understand is what the Gary Community School Corporation has in place moving forward for safe back to school and for any exchanges face-to-face that may need to happen in the upcoming school year. So why don't you just give us a little bit of information about plans for the Gary School District and moving forward to get safely started with school.
Okay, sounds good. So as you're aware, we made the decision several weeks ago, actually, to close the Gary schools for in-person learning and to go to a virtual learning platform in an abundance of caution for our staff, our students, and their families. And so with that, our staff members will be coming into the building Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They'll be teaching from home on Thursday, Friday, but our staff will be coming in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because they will be individually in their classrooms by themselves. The students obviously will all be at home and they'll be learning virtually with their teachers. Our maintenance crew, also, along with our contracted services, are busy working on sanitizing the buildings daily. We also are fogging the buildings every other week because the fogging lasts for 12 days. So we're doing it on a 10-day rotation. So that'll happen every other Friday. And then, of course, we have all the CDC required sanitation guidelines that we're following. We have turned off all of the water fountains in the schools. We have roped off every other restroom, things like that, so that we can ensure that staff members who are in the building are maintaining social distance.
That is great to hear that there are so many wonderful things being put in place for the teachers to be safe inside of the school buildings while they're virtually teaching the school children. So tell us a little bit about how that e-learning will occur for students and what the students will be receiving so they'll be able to do e-learning from home.
Okay, so we actually, as started yesterday and today, are passing out laptops, and we'll be doing it the rest of the week. Excuse me, not laptops, Chromebooks. So every student's going to get a Chromebook with a hotspot attached with it. So they'll have internet access wherever they are. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they will be receiving synchronous instruction with the teacher. So what that means is if you are a 10th grader and you have geometry first hour of the day, it's our expectation that you get up and you attend school like a normal school day, and you log in for your geometry class first hour, because that teacher is going to be teaching in real time the geometry class, and he or she, teacher, can see all of her students that have logged in to that classroom and be watching, answering questions just like we are right now, and chatting with their students and following along. We can then see who hasn't logged in, and that's how we'll be taking attendance. But they'll be doing that live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again on Thursday and Friday, the students will be working independently. We will have paraprofessionals and teachers still working, but checking in on students for one-on-one instruction who might need a little extra assistance. Students will be working on assignments during that time. Teachers will be doing grade level planning, grading of papers that they're receiving via the emails, that type of stuff. So it's going to be it's not going to look the same as it did last spring, because as you know, we had to close, all schools did abruptly, and we rolled out e-learning as a district, and I think we did it well. We went from a 0 platform all the way to e-learning in 2 weeks. But now that we have our feet underneath us, I think that we're going to do a more robust job of delivering instruction to our students. And certainly now that we're able to get the Chromebooks in hotspots out to all of our students, I think that'll go great. So we're excited to be able to offer that, and we're ready to go.
That sounds great. I do have an additional question. For our students that have learning disorders or special needs, how are those being addressed during this e-learning process?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So we are offering appointment services for all of our special ed students. So they can either do it virtually or by appointment if they want to do it in person. So anybody who needs speech, OT, PT, social work services, they can come into the building at their home school. They have to make an appointment, and they'll be seen by that practitioner each week. Or they can choose a virtual remote session, if you will, as well. It's their choice, but we will still be servicing those students either in person or virtually. In addition, we still will be having our career technical education program, CTE, coming twice a week to the CTE building, because those students, because they're in a vocational program, they have to be able to still do their hands-on projects. So
Yes.
They'll be coming in clusters, pods twice a week for their hands-on projects, if you will, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The rest of it will be at home virtually with their instructor, but 2 days a week they'll be coming in small groups so they can get those credits and continue on with their certification.
Oh, that is wonderful, and I'm glad that we have this platform so we can get this information out. It may not necessarily be known by all of the parents in the school district, and others that are listening that are in other school districts may be able to provide this information, showing what Gary schools are doing, and they may be able to utilize that as well in their districts. One thing that I did want to ask you as well, and I said I had one other question, this just came to my mind.
That's okay.
I did a career day, and this has probably been a few years ago, it was in individual classrooms. One of the classrooms that I went into, several of the students were deaf, hearing impaired, and they had sign language people there that were able to do American Sign Language for me so the students would understand what I was saying. So how is that going to be addressed also through e-learning?
Yes, so we do have a couple of students who have hearing impairments, and so we have hired interpreters as we would during a normal school day, and those students will have a split screen so that when they have their live instruction with their teacher, that interpreter will be doing a split screen and interpreting for them so that they can continue on with their learning and sign language. So we're ready to go with that.
This is just a wonderful time, even though I know Corona is here and disturbing us through our wits' end, but just to hear that we're able to take technology to this level to make sure that all students' needs are being addressed so they can learn at the level of their capacity.
Right.
So this is a wonderful thing.
Right.
Don, I know you're probably chomping at the bits to get to Dr. McNulty and ask some questions. So Don, why don't you go right ahead?
All right, thank you, Dr. Seabrook. Dr. McNulty, as I was paying attention to all of the different schools like everybody else has over the past not only couple of weeks, but even a month back, and taking a look at what people are doing, I got the feeling that a lot of the schools all across the country were kind of sending a message out that was sent out into kind of a hostile environment. Not violent, but just a lot of people really having a lot of different opinions on the way that everything should be handled. When the Gary schools put their plan in place, what was the reaction? How was the overall reaction, not just with the parents, but also with the students?
Well, just to kind of back it up a little bit, the Porter County and Lake County superintendents had been working collaboratively all summer long to come up with a plan for reentry, because there is no roadmap for this and it's new to all of us, and we were trying to figure it out together. And then as it evolved, Porter County superintendents kind of split off because their numbers look different than Lake County. So they continued to work on their reentry plan. The Lake County superintendents and myself continued to work on our reentry plan. And we we did have one plan that we rolled out uniformly based on what we knew at that moment in time. Before we rolled out the plan, all the districts, including myself, had surveyed our parents and our staff to see their comfort level in coming back to school. And again, this was 6-8 weeks ago. And the majority of parents and staff members were telling us through the survey that they felt comfortable in coming back to school as long as we had safety measures in place, which we did. Now the numbers continued to rise after that survey, and things looked different. Gary has its own health department, and I continued to work with Dr. Walker very closely. And so the decision was made collaboratively after, again, speaking with my teachers. We did another survey, and at that point, 87% of my teachers did not feel comfortable coming back to the school setting. And so again, talking with all those different groups, we made the decision that we needed to close until we felt that the numbers were in a safe level for 10 or 14 days and declining. And that's why it was made. We've had a lot of support since that decision was made. I think that parents, although we understand that there's parents that need to go to work, I think that parents also know that we made the decision based on safety. So we have partnered with the Boys and Girls Club and the YWCA and several churches, and they're going to be taking some of our students in pods, in small pods, for those parents who do have to go to work. So for example, the Boys and Girls Club has given the Gary Community Schools 160 slots in different small pods, and those kids can go there and receive their virtual instruction through the day. We'll be sending our meals that they would normally get through us to the Boys and Girls Club or to the YWCA, so those kids have a place to go if need be. Otherwise, the students will be at home. But we've had a tremendous amount of support on the decision, and we're all just doing the best we can.
Yeah, it was brought up on this show a couple of weeks ago that you've got, when you take a look at the children, and I always kind of put it into two groups. You've got the children and then you've got the kids. And the kids are a little bit older. They're a little bit, more with it when it comes to all this. The children have been with the family since March now. And I wondered what the reaction was with them, because there's one reaction of like, holy cow, we got to get out of this house and we got to get back to the school. And then you've got the other one that is like, you know what, I've been here. The mom and dad are working from home. We're all kind of together. Am I kind of right with that there has been kind of a mixed feeling?
Well, certainly kids want to get back to school to see their friends and get back to normal setting. We all do. I mean, I'm a mom. I got 10-year-old twins at home myself. So I'm living it as well. I get it. It's tough. But the reality is it's just not a good time, at least right now in Lake County and for us at Gary Community Schools, for us to do so. So we are planning robust social emotional learning lessons for our students so that we can talk with them about what this is all about, how this is affecting us. We're working hard to talk about anxiety, depression, because we know that's happening. We've partnered with Edgewater and Regional Mental Health, and we have partnered with another agency that's received a grant. And the grant will enable our high school students to have an app put on their phone so that if they need to reach out to somebody for social work services, therapy services at any time, they can do that and have a virtual session to talk about things. So we're trying our very best to build in some social emotional support around this, because it's definitely difficult.
We have had a number of teachers that we've spoken with on LRP exclusive that we do in the morning. We've had a number of parents that have been on also, and I find it extremely refreshing and very uplifting that the schools and the school districts and the parents themselves, there's been a lot of networking between on the teacher side with other teachers and other superintendents, and on the parent side to be able to work with other parents. That I guess if there is a bright spot to some of the things that are currently going on in this new abnormal, I can't call it normal, it's the new abnormal. It's the fact that everybody has really come together to help everybody in the districts to at least make this as easy a transition, whether it is at home or whether it's at the school. So that's always great to hear.
Absolutely. We've had a huge outpouring of support and we appreciate it. It's going to take all of us to get through this together.
You got it.
It certainly will. It certainly will. Don, did you have any more questions?
I'm going to throw it right back to you because we got about 8 minutes left. So I don't want to take your time.
So thank you so much. Dr. McNulty, so the teachers and the expectations for the teachers for virtual learning, they're going to be inside the school buildings. And how was that? Was that a decision that was made, or what does that look like, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, so the teachers, yes, we've met with the teachers union and the staff, and we've talked with it at length, and the decision was made collaboratively that they would come into the buildings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that they would have access to their interactive smart boards that will be behind them, so that they can teach their lessons and also grade level plan together. And they felt comfortable in doing so because they're the only one in the classroom, and their class will be virtual. So they're feeling okay. And again, we're assuring them that we're doing our best to clean the buildings every single day. And we've given our staff checklists of health precautions to watch out for. All of our staff have received masks, hand sanitizers, all that type of stuff. So I think that we're as prepared as we can be for this moment in time. Additionally, we're going to continue to deliver meals to our families. So we'll have 2 days of delivery on Monday and Wednesdays. So again, like we did over the summer, the buses will deliver food throughout the community to all of our students as well. So nobody will be eating in the building. We won't even allow staff to use the faculty lounges and congregate together either.
So inside the school buildings, the teachers will be practicing all of those things that we had just talked about, the social distancing, the hand washing, hand hygiene, and things like that. So they'll just be in their classroom virtually by themselves with their door locked and just at their smart board.
You got it.
Oh, that is wonderful. That's just wonderful that to be able to know that, by e-learning. We're keeping the students safe, and the teachers as well are able to do their work because the schools have been outfitted with those smart boards, so they're able to get the work across to the students without much disruption. And I'm just excited about the ability for all of our students in the Gary School District to have those Chromebooks. I think that this is an opportunity that if there had not been COVID-19, I don't necessarily know if we would, and when I say we, I'm speaking as a larger group and for the community, have been able to have an opportunity where every student in the district would be able to get a Chromebook. I don't see that happening. I don't see how that would have happened had we not had this pandemic going on right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we were definitely planning, we had already planned on getting Chromebooks. It just accelerated the pace. I always say that. And now I'm glad because there's a mad rush on Chromebooks across the country. You can't get them, actually. It's really difficult. Most schools are trying to get them, but the waiting list is long now because, you know, of where we are. So we had our order in early. So thankfully we got them in middle of June, I think it was. And so we're deploying them as we speak. When I left West Side earlier today, there was probably 150 people in line waiting to get their Chromebooks.
That is wonderful. I hear what you're saying because we had plans to do telehealth. Last year we received a grant. So we planned this very well thought out. We're going to start with our behavioral health clinical psychologists and our licensed clinical social workers. We have a staff of about 8 to 10 mental health workers. So we're going to start small, and we have behavioral health integrated into the primary care visit. So you can come and see your pediatrician or your family medicine physician and also have a warm handoff to the clinical psychologist or the behavioral therapist. And so we said, we're going to start with our smallest group of providers and then we'll work our way up. Well, then COVID-19 happened. So we had to expand and open up telehealth to every provider. So instead of doing this little small pilot that we had carefully planned out, overnight, we had to make sure that every provider had the ability to reach out to their patients through telehealth. So I can truly say on this one, been there, done that. Yeah, and it was quite the experience. But now, and because behavioral health had been training and practicing and working with it, it made me feel so good to see them literally helping out the doctors and nurse practitioners who weren't as familiar with the telehealth codes or even how to use the technology to reach out to their patients. So, you know, some things, good things come out of, you know, some bad things that happen to us.
We're making some lemonade out of these lemons, right?
Yes, definitely. So is there anything else that you want to share with us about good things for the future of the district? I know Community Health Net, we've been working with the leadership at Westside High School. And tell us about all of the upgrades that are happening at Westside. I'm so excited about this. So why don't you tell us?
So Westside is getting a new facelift, if you will. It looks beautiful. All the lockers got rehabbed and everything's getting painted. It looks fresh and really clean, bright. When you walk in, the colors just pop. And so that's going to continue to happen. We're going to continue our work on the roof repairs, and we're also moving on to the Career Center this week. They're starting to paint that as well, and we'll continue those efforts throughout the whole district. But it looks fabulous. I'm looking forward to you coming over to see it sometime.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait because I believe, you know, it's just like having a new car or having that new car smell. You know, you're real excited when you get out to, you know, drive the car and then you want to show it off. So I'm so glad the students can be proud that when they are able to physically come back into the building, that the building will have that new fresh paint smell, and they'll be able to be proud of being in a building that has been refreshed and rehabbed while they've been out on e-learning.
Absolutely. They deserve it. And we want the kids to come in and be impressed and feel excited about their learning environment, and the staff as well. Again, as I was there today, you see people coming and going, wow, look at this place. They got a little pep in their step. So we want them to feel excited about their environment. Now, we know there's going to be some bumps in the road this year with our new virtual learning, but we're going to get through it together. My message to the staff has been for the last 6 weeks that we need to be nimble, because this is going to keep changing, and that we need to afford each other some grace right now and offer each other support, but we're going to get through it together.
It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I'm just so excited. But I also want to just issue this caution and something to think about, and I'm sure you guys have already had discussions about this. This upcoming flu season is going to be quite challenging for healthcare providers. And so because the symptoms of COVID-19 and influenza are similar, we're going to ask everyone, to get their flu shot. So if you can take that information out to your teachers in the district, to your school nurses, other providers, that they should get their flu shot. Be protected. Even though it's e-learning, they still have to go out into the community to do those essential things like grocery shopping and things like that, picking up prescriptions. So I'm asking if you know of anyone that has any doubt about flu vaccine, this is the year to get a flu vaccine. It's going to be very important.
I agree with you, and I will absolutely push that message out. We do virtual messages all the time. I'll push that out to the families and the staff. We can even offer a clinic within our buildings, so we can give flu shots within our schools. Let's partner and get it done.
We certainly will be available to assist with that. And my other concern is, Dr. McNulty, is that you would add immunizations to that, because during the time when everything was shut down, even though the health centers were still open, you had people that were reluctant to come in. So we're going to have a lot of children that are behind on their vaccinations, their recommended annual vaccines. And so some parents may feel, oh, we're e-learning, so we can skip that. They're still vulnerable to those very infectious diseases. So if we can make sure that parents also know that they need to get those vaccines going.
Absolutely.
So we certainly appreciate it. Again, I want to thank you. And Don, I'm going to toss it back over to you.
Dr. McNulty, she brought up the flu shot because I had a talk with her before we went on the air about a flu shot, and she made sure that I was going to get one. And I knowing Dr. Seabrook the way I do, I'm sure next week she will make sure that I have confirmation that I got my flu shot. So I will make sure everything is taken care of. Dr. McNulty, thank you very much for taking the time to join us on Your Health Matters. Dr. Seabrook, thank you, and great job as always. And we will be back here again next week live from the LRP Tower. Thank you very much, and have a great night.
Your Health Matters with Dr. Janet Seabrook was brought to you in part by
Net Health Centers, rooted in the communities of Northwest Indiana. Community Health Net Health Centers offer family practice, pediatrics, behavioral health, OBGYN, eye care, and dental. Community Health Net Health Centers provides compassionate health care for all.